Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with another episode Speaking My Mind. How you guys doing? Hope you're all doing well. God, it's so lovely today. Just after 12 o'clock now, time I'm recording this. Really nice weather. Not feeling the cold anymore. I did feel it a little bit. Oh, there it is. I'm feeling it again a little bit. Forgive me if it's a bit noisy because I'm right by the road. I walk this part of the forest. I do apologise. So what did I want to talk about in this episode today, guys? I wanted to talk a little bit about speeches. You know, you see some of these incredible speeches from politicians, celebrities, even just yourself, whether you're doing a speech at a wedding or a funeral, talking about speeches in general. There's this saying that words are powerful. Words can have the power to destroy someone. They can have the power to uplift someone. They can have the power to change someone's life completely, for the good or the better. Words have incredible influence in our lives, and literally even me talking to you now here, they could perhaps influence you in some way, shape or form about how you go about the rest of your day just by listening to this video, or how you're just sitting there chilling at home listening to this. Our words, and not just the words that come out, but also how they come across, the tone of how you speak as well, can be whether it's an aggressive or it's a soft tone, a bit more light-hearted, or it's aggressive and it's a bit more ruthless, a bit more strong. Can have a difference of feelings towards the conversation that you could be having, whatever that conversation may be, or whatever you're listening to and who it's from. The speeches in themselves are very fascinating. It was interesting. You know, so there was this, I wish I remember where it was, but there was this, there's this tournament they have where they have about, I don't know, I can't remember what the are, but one of the things that I wish I remembered it. All I remember, this guy won a trophy or ceremony or whatever for having the most powerful speech. Excuse me, I got in my throat there, apologies. About speeches. I'm sure there's some kind of tournament or something like that comes into my mind. But he was so powerful and so true about what he said. And then there was something he brought up as well. He, in his speeches, he brought up the use of his son, where he basically, so I'll give the example of it. I remember it actually now vividly when it comes to my mind now. So his son, this is the story, okay? So his son, whatever age it would be, basically colouring on the wall. Obviously, you don't want them colouring on the wall, okay? And the first example he used was to basically say, don't ever do that again, basically. Aggressive tone, you know, talking with authority, telling the child off, saying, don't colour on the wall, very naughty, very bad, yada, 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 sort of thing. Yeah, that kind of aggressive, strong tone. So, how does the child respond to that authority? Does the child be more submissive and doesn't do it again? Or does the child become more rebellious and does it? Turned out the child was more rebellious as a response to that, carried on colouring. And then the second one, he came across this time, instead of aggressive tone and whatnot, the second time he was colouring, came across to him with compassion and a softer tone. And he said, listen to me, he basically asked, why do you colour on the wall? And he said, because I want to. I wish I knew the full context now, but it basically talked to him about how that doing this doesn't help him, doesn't help anyone else, and all it's doing is it's not helping. And trying to understand why someone is doing such a thing rather than being an aggressive tone. I guess that's essentially the way I'm trying to come across. But it was interesting because obviously it's the power of a child and its parent. With an adult, obviously you have a bit of a brain to understand. But when it comes to a child's brain is like a sponge, as we know. And so sometimes the way you respond to a child can have negative impacts on that child for the rest of their life. And that really got me thinking about speeches and about talking, because the way I'm talk to some of you guys, like I'm talking here calmly and that, but sometimes when I'm talking on live streams, there are times where I talk really slowly, get really emotional, talk really emotionally about something very sensitive, like Gaza, for example. And then there's times where I get really, really angry and frustrated about things that the UK government are doing, because like they say they're trying to make lives better for everyone, but they're doing things that I don't fully understand, or that I fully understand, but I don't understand why they're doing it, because they think it's going to make people's lives better, when generally the feeling and the consensus from people out there is that they're not feeling better off because of the decision that they've made on this particular policy, for example. Or it seems blatantly obvious that it's such a stupid idea. Where I end up lashing out and using language and whatnot, which I don't like to do it, but I feel that I need to do it to express my frustration, to do so, and it's hurtful. It hurts talking about it. It's hurt using that language. It feels like it brings out the dark side of me, and I don't like that. But I guess it's not just speeches but talks, I suppose is what this topic is all about. But yes, our words do have a great deal of influence. I'm very, sometimes when it comes to language and talks and whatnot, I'm very sensitive, very careful about. I want to make this clear for anybody who leaves comments in my videos on YouTube. I do read all the comments. I don't always respond. I always respond to members' ones. But non-members ones, it's entirely my discretion if I want to respond to you or not. Most of the time I will just click I agree. If I don't agree or disagree, I normally don't respond, because I don't want to get into a conversation in YouTube comments that are not helpful to me and not helpful to you, because I don't think that's the way to have a conversation sometimes. I would say the best way to engage with me is probably in the live chat, when we do live streams, if you can attend one. That's probably the best way to have engagement. Because sometimes, like, I see a comment that, like, I fundamentally disagree with. It just sometimes it's just like you're deluded. You're absolutely deluded when I see it. But I don't know. Comments is an interesting thing, but it's not the same as obviously speeches, because obviously it's in a text, in the word of a text, so you're putting it into a text box, so I don't actually see your face, see your how you're speaking about it, the tone that you're using on it. I can only go by what the text says, and it's kind of hard to read people when it comes to that, obviously. So yeah, I don't know on that, but yeah, those are just some of my random thoughts on speeches and talks and whatnot. But let me know what you guys think about it down in the comments below. Did you find this interesting, informative in any way, shape or form? Went 9 minutes long on this. Very interesting. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on all this down in the comments below. And by the way, I do, like I said, I do read all my comments. Even if there's ones I disagree. Even the ones who tell me to F off in the hidden comments as well, believe it or not. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe as always. And hope to catch you all very, very soon.